careful observation, it's clear to see what the after careful observation, it's clear to see.
I extend this, by the way, is the Prime Minister's speech, not mine. I am not in any way attempting to fill those kinds of shoes. I can't. So, on behalf of the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Millers, Prime Minister of Jamaica, I extend a warm Jamaican greeting to the Directorate of the Canadian Club of Toronto and to all who are here with us this afternoon. I'm here in Canada at the kind invitation of the Right Honourable Stephen Harper, Prime Minister, to pay an official visit to this country and its people who have been friends of Jamaica for much longer than the 50 years of our formal diplomatic relations would suggest. History records that more than 200 years ago, the first Jamaicans arrived in this country, and it would seem that our people have been making their presence and impact felt ever since. My visit coincides with the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the formal establishment of diplomatic relations between Jamaica and Canada. It also falls within the year of our Golden Jubilee, 50 years since we took hold of the reins of our independence from colonial rule and embarked on a journey of discovery as to how we would make good on the promise of building a society that was just and an economy which provided for the well-being of all. So, many years later, in the midst of the celebration which must necessarily accompany a milestone of such significance, we temper our perspective with a balanced assessment of how far we have come and how much further we need to go. Indeed, we can safely admit that we are a nation on a mission, determined to secure that common good which all nations seek, and to seize the opportunities presented by the 21st century world, which we call home. I begin with this reflection because it is easy to ignore the fact that we have been at this business of nation building for only 50 years, far less time than many with longer histories and more favorable circumstances, and with which we are often unjustly compared. This is not to suggest that we can be idly excused for not making good on promises and for not seizing the opportunities that have time and time again been presented. It is very simply a reminder that our little country started out with severe hardships, and for that reason, the struggles through which we must necessarily pass would be more intense and the efforts more consistently applied to take us where we need to be. Over the years of our independence, we have dabbled with trending economic models to varying degrees. We have sought to move our country from its dependence on one sector of the economy, and we have at various points increased our openness by developing commercial relations with countries all over the world. We entered into trading arrangements such as Lomé, now devolved into the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union. CARIFTA, reincarnated as CARICOM, and more recently, the CSME, the Caribbean-based Initiative, and CARIBCAN, among others, all of which were aimed at seeking a foothold in the global trading market for our exports, by which we would increase our revenues and our ability to meet our needs at home. Our relationships with these and other countries were furthered in regional and international organizations such as the Organization of American States, the Commonwealth, and the United Nations, where the equality of our votes and the similarity of our interests made it possible for a small country like ours to have a say in global decision-making. Canada has in this regard been a great friend of Jamaica, one of the first with which we established diplomatic relationships at independence, and with which over the years we have engaged in areas of cooperation in a number of fields which have been of benefit to both countries. Today, Jamaica remains a small developing country in many respects. And I say this because where it concerns certain opportunities, we are deemed to be middle income and thus unable to benefit from debt relief initiatives and concessionary financing destined for low-income countries. Our reliance on imported oil is severe, and with every upward movement in the price externally, our economy is impacted negatively. We live under the constant threat of natural disasters such as hurricanes, floods, and droughts in their various extremes. We are made more vulnerable to external shocks and developments as they have been occurring with greater frequency and strength in the past several years. We continue to believe in keeping our economy open, which is why we support the multilateral trading system governed by the World Trade Organization. We further believe that in the unequal world in which we live, and where those inequalities are perpetuated by the differences in circumstances, natural or human derived, there must be protection for those who are unquestionably at a disadvantage, such as the small and vulnerable island states, those with heavy debt burdens, with minimal natural resources, and those seeking to recover from great shocks, whatever their origin. Ladies and gentlemen, as you well know, I took on the leadership of the country as its first female Prime Minister. I told you that you would forgive me. And for the second time around, in January of this year, it is true to say that Jamaica of today, 50 years since the end of colonial rule, is far removed in many respects from that which the Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante and the Right Excellent Norman Manley, two of our national heroes, so strongly made the case for independence at Lancaster House in London in 1962. Our infrastructure rivals many in more developed parts of the world. We have reduced significantly our reliance on primary products and have embraced the realities of a technological and information age with ICT, agro-processing, manufacturing, and new and creative service industries among the areas we are determined to develop in leaps and bounds. Tourism is the largest earner of foreign exchange. And to that extent, we have taken seriously the investment that is necessary in the infrastructure, in the industry, in the attractions, and in our marketing. As I have come to Canada at a time when your temperatures are not as high why so many Canadians visit us at this time of the year. And I encourage you to continue to do so. And the Honorable Rachel will tell you, this is not in the script, of course, but he will tell you.
Mr. Jackie, then time, you're the problem. Oh, it's plain to see. The blame is not on me. Mr. Jackie, then time, why you keep on telling us problem is? So, Mr. Jackie, then time, you're the problem. Oh, it's plain to see. The blame is not on me. Mr. Jackie, then die. Why you keep on fighting the girl? All of who don't even object. Mr. Jackie, then